Hello folks, it's Patrick here. Most of you know that I was sent to prison in 2019 for growing medicinal hemp, which is illegal in Spain. And I now, after about 2.5 years in prison, I finally started getting some parole. So I'm now out on a few days parole. I've got to go back to the prison tomorrow, unfortunately. But I suppose it means it's the beginning of the end. Hopefully, I would be getting out more and more. And while I was out on these few short days, I had a look at my YouTube. The thing is, while I was in there, there was no way of getting any content. But then when coronavirus came along, unfortunately the prison was shut down and we were not allowed visits, and there were all sorts of measures taken. But one of the things to compensate for this was they finally allowed some of the prisoners, those of us who went to the trouble of fulfilling all the conditions and jumping through all the hoops necessary, we got some video calls. So I was occasionally given 10 minutes of, maybe every couple of weeks I would be given 10 minutes of a video call, and I generally called one of my brothers or sisters. So I decided to use a couple of these calls to put some content up on, to ask my brothers and sisters to be kind enough to put some content up on my YouTube account. It was mostly to get stuff off my mind, to feel like I was somehow still alive, because at times you feel like you're not when you're so isolated from the rest of the world. So I was quite pleased that I had made contact with the outside world. Now you poor viewers, I feel your pain now, because I had a look at one of these videos today and it was appalling. First of all, my physical appearance was that of a shipwreck survivor. I looked like a castaway, which I suppose figuratively I was. But the worst of all was the quality of the sound. It was terrible. It was impossible to make it out. So my apologies for giving you such a challenging few videos. So now I want to try to remedy that and do those same readings, but with the quality of audio you are now hearing, which is much more than reasonable, and I'll then remove the ones that are almost undecipherable. And what was I going to say? So the first one I'll go ahead and do now is a poem. One night, probably about a year ago, I was asleep in my prison cell and I was having this very strange dream where I seemed to be floating in the sky. Maybe I was a cloud, maybe I was a mist, maybe I was a butterfly, I don't know. But at one stage I was hovering over this landscape, which was lots of green hills and fields spreading out over a vast area. And below me there was a little cottage. So I moved down towards that cottage, and next thing I was hovering at the back wall of the cottage beside a bird cage which was hanging by the back door. I later remembered that this was exactly how my grandmother's house often was when I would visit her as a little boy back in the last century. She would often have a bird cage hanging by her back door with some sort of little bird inside it. Now in my dream I was hovering beside this bird cage, observing the bird inside, when next thing the bird starts to speak, and I listened carefully to what the bird was saying, and next thing the prison loudspeaker went off and I woke up. It was probably about 7:30 in the morning, and I quickly grabbed a pen and a paper and I wrote down what I had just heard in my dream from this little bird within a cage on the back of the cottage in the countryside within my dream. I wrote it down as best I could in Gaelic, because I heard it in Gaelic in my dream. I then went ahead and made a couple of translations from that, so hopefully I'll at least get to put up the Gaelic version, the original version of that poem, on my YouTube account today, and please God, I'll also get to put up the translations I then later made into Spanish and into English. And I hope you'll enjoy it, or you'll find it interesting, but at least you'll be able to hear the words I'm speaking, not like the previous terrible audio quality that I had up. It's great to be out. Again, I give my thanks to all of those people who supported me and gave me all of their good wishes and sent me all those good vibrations and kept my spirits high when they were struggling to stay afloat. You're very kind, and I'll never be able to thank you enough. So please keep checking out my content and let me know what you think, if it's of any value. Okay, I'll go ahead and start doing those readings. Talk soon.